Chapter 4 Meeting him. Again. Our car stopped outside the venue. The entrance was all crowded by photographers and journalists of different news channels. Lahaina got out of the car and then looked at me. I don't want to go out. How am I gonna do this? Walk in front of so many people. What if I slip and fall? I can't make a fool of myself and Dad over here. I got out of the car too and followed Lahaina as she started moving towards the entrance. I walked carefully not to fall on my face, and finally, I did it. The place was crowded by many people. The women dressed in beautiful dresses and gowns were moving around with so much grace. I really don't belong here. There you are, Dad said, coming towards us and hugged Lahaina. Julia and Uncle Max followed him. How are you, Caro? Uncle Max said, placing a hand on my head. Good. It's so good to see you after so many years. I smiled back at him. Max is Dad's old friend. I know him since I was just 3. He is a very compassionate man and loves me dearly. Dad started talking to him about business while Lahaina and Julia were busy criticizing and making fun of women and their dresses. I'll go and talk to David about the deal. Uncle Max told Dad and left after a handshake. As soon as Max left, Lahaina turned to Dad and started asking about their prey for tonight. Dad, where is he? She said. Must be here. Dad spoke, turning and searching for someone. There, he said, referring to a man talking to a group of people. His back was turned towards us so I couldn't see his face, but I know it must be the man. Aaron Woodwords. He had broad shoulders and was wearing a black Armani suit. Come here, Dad said, and started walking towards the man, and Julia followed him. Lahaina held my hand and said slowly, you just wait and watch how I'm gonna make him get on his knees for me. After all, I don't have any competition over here. Full stop. Then she grabbed my hand and we both went and stood beside Dad. Seeing us coming, Dad turned to the man talking to others. Mr. Woodwards, he said nervously. It's the first time I have ever seen my dad nervous. The man turned around and, what the hell? This was the last thing I expected. It was him. The man on whom I threw money the previous day outside the jewelry shop. I threw money on his face. On a multi-billionaire. On the Aaron Woodwards. He turned around and greeted my father. Lahaina moved forward and shook hands with him, flirting a little. He didn't see me yet. I have to leave before he sees me. As I was about to turn and leave, Dad spoke up. Mr. Woodwards, here's my wife, Julia, and these are my daughters, Lahaina and Caroline. He introduced us. He frowned seeing me but quickly covered it up and put forward his hand for a handshake. Pleasure meeting you, Miss Caroline Marshall, he said with clenched teeth. I was shivering out of fear. What if he tells Dad all that happened? Dad will probably hang me to death. Gaining courage, I put my hand forward too and shook his hand. Nice meeting you too, Mr. W. Woodwards, I said, stammering. He kept on staring me for a while and then Lahaina interrupted. Mr. Woodwards, may we have a drink, she said in a sultry tone. He looked at her and then again at me. Giving me a death glare, he said, may we have a dance, Ms. Marshall? Oh no. Should I say no? Of course. I turned to look at Dad. Dad just stared at me confused while Lahaina was shocked. The man literally ignored her. When I didn't answer, he looked at Dad and Dad nodded nervously. He took my hand in his large, warm ones and started moving towards the dance floor. A slow music was playing in the background. He placed his hand on my waist and started swaying to the music. I shivered with his touch. What have I done? He didn't say anything for 2 to 3 minutes. We just moved with the music. He was staring me all the while. I turned my head to look in Dad's direction. He was standing there confused while Lahaina and Julia were fuming because of anger. I tried searching for you, he said in a silky voice. What? I asked, confused. Do you really think that I will let anyone who threw money on my face go away so easily? He said in a calm tone. I really wanted to apologize for that day, Mr. Woodwards. I didn't mean to. Dottie cut me off. You didn't mean to break my car, or you didn't mean to throw money on my face. He asked, emphasizing the last 5 words. I'm really sorry for yesterday. Will you tell my dad? I asked and then regretted it. I myself gave him an idea, even if he didn't want to before, he will definitely now. What if I do? He said, raising his brows. No, please don't. Please. I am apologizing. Please. I begged him. I'll see, he said with a smirk. By the way, the money you threw on me was not sufficient for the harm you caused, he said. Was he teasing me? We danced slowly when he again spoke. You work with your father. It was then when I remembered that I have lost my job. No, I used to work in a cafe. I replied. Used to? He asked. Yeah, The area you bought up today was where the cafe was so. I said, looking at him. He is really the most handsome man I have ever seen. Oh, he said. The song ended and he walked me back to where Dad was standing. Lahaina glared at me angrily as if she will kill me any moment. Mr. Woodwards nodded to my dad, and as Lahaina moved towards him he excused himself and went back in the crowd. I turned to face Dad. Oh no, I'm dead. Hey, how was the chapter? You like it? Do tell. Her so-called family is furious. What will they do with her now? I hope Caroline and fine. Lots of love to all my readers, and more love to those who vote. And yeah, don't forget to vote, comment and share. Blooming Rose 18. Chapter 5. New job. I looked at Dad and can easily say that he is furious. But why? Was it my fault that Mr. Woodwards asked me for a dance? And it was Dad who gave him the permission. They didn't say anything there in the party. After a few hours we thanked the host and left for home. May I know what just happened over there? Julia yelled at Dad as soon as we entered the house. I couldn't have said no to him. Dad said as if it is the most obvious thing. And what about you? Julia glared at me. You bloody whore. How can you do this with your own sister? Ha! Lahaina shouted on top of her lungs. I didn't do anything, it was him who asked. She cut me off. He ignored me because of you. You bitch, I will kill you. I told you, Dad, not to take her with us. She failed our plan. Don't worry dear, we will have more opportunities, Dad said and hugged her. He then came to me and said furiously, get lost. I ran back to my room and locked it. Why it has to be always me? Why is it always my fault? Why am I always wrong? Am I that bad? I went to my cupboard and took out a photograph of my mom, hugged it and cried my heart out. In all these years of my painful life, this is the only thing that gives me solace. I was wakened up by the ringing of my phone. Without opening my eyes, I picked it up and placed it near my ear. Hello, I whispered in a sleepy voice. Caroline, is it you? A manly voice said from the other end. I have heard this voice before, but I am too sleepy to think. Yes, who's this? I asked, still eyes closed. Aaron, he said. Who Aaron? Do I know you? There was silence for some time. I was about to hang up when he said, it's bad you forgot me so soon. Remember we met yesterday at the party, and before that you crashed in my car and threw money at me, Mr. Woodwards. I jerked opened my eyes with that. Why is he calling me and how did he get my number? So you remember, he said. How did you get my number? I asked, sitting up on my bed. I have resources, he said casually. Yeah, of course. Rich people. Why did you call? I asked slowly. You said yesterday that you are jobless since I bought up your cafe. He stated. Not just the cafe, mister, you bought up the entire area. Sue. I have a job for you. Why? You're offering job to everyone who are now jobless because of you. I asked sincerely. No. Then why me? And I have my dad's company to work in. Why will I work somewhere else? I wanted to accept the job because I really don't want to work with Julia, but after what happened yesterday, I can't accept. Fine. You can call me if you change your mind. He said and hung up. Aaron Woodwards, the most successful businessman, called me to offer a job himself and I rejected. This is the stupidest thing anyone could ever do. But do I have a choice? Now I don't have a job and I will definitely not work in Julia's company, and Dad will not allow me to work somewhere else. What am I gonna do? I got up and took a quick bath. I changed into a white crop top and blue denims. Putting on a bit of makeup, I went downstairs for breakfast. Lahaina told me you lost your job, Dad said as I sat on the chair. Why? Yes, I will find a new one, I said with a little hope. No, you will be working with us, he ordered. But Dad, he cut me off saying from tomorrow you will come to the office. Did I make myself clear? He gave me a don't you dare say no glare and I nodded. After breakfast, I went to visit Nadia. She lives near my house in a rented apartment. The apartment is a small one, but at least she can say it hers. Hey Caro, how was the party? Did you find a guy for you? She asked cheerfully as she hugged me. Nadia, you know me well to ask that question, I said as I entered and sat on the couch. Yeah. I don't want to be in any kind of relationship stuff. She mocked me. Every relationship is not like your parents and every man is not like your father, Caro. I don't care, I said looking at the ground. Okay, leave that. You saw him. She asked excited. Who? Aaron Woodwards. Yeah, I wanted to talk to you.